Hello, my name is Angie and I'm the owner of the Cake Bar, 100% plant-based bakery in downtown Denver. We opened August 12th of 2023, and we serve people that are looking for vegan desserts, gluten-free options, and allergen-friendly cakes as well. We bake cupcakes, cake cups in-house, and we also partner with local vendors to supply a variety of baked goods. So my journey into veganism started in 2012. I was dating someone who was raw vegan and I just went all in. And when we broke up, unfortunately, I reverted back to some of my old ways because it wasn't something that I personally resonated with at that time. But I started watching documentaries and I started really immersing myself in what the animals are going through and not shying away from, really hard to watch cruel videos of what animals go through on a daily basis. And it was through that I was personally convicted to become vegan. It's kind of interesting to answer the question, why should we care about animals? Because it's like, why should we not? These are living beings that are created not for our pleasure, but for their own divine purpose in our world. They're sentient beings, they feel pain, and we should understand and resonate with that alone. A lot of times people struggle to see how we can relate to animals, and I like to just bring it down to the basics, to life. They bleed, they cry, they have nurturing aspects of them. They are mothers, they nurse their children, they love, they kiss, they laugh, they have joy. So there's so many relations for animals to us that I don't get how people can't see that. We love our cats, we love our dogs, we love our pet goldfish, we love our domesticated animals. Why can't we translate that to other animals, to chickens, to cows, to sheep, to lambs? I don't see any difference, and I actually believe in reincarnation, and the thought of coming back as an exploited animal or an animal bred and born solely to be exploited just is enough for me to care about animals. We've done so many cruel things to humans. We have been desensitized to human cruelty. Our history is paved with massacres, killings, genocides, and so for some people it's a stretch for them to consider the lives of animals and the genocides that they go through on a daily basis. There are so many similarities that we really have to open our eyes, because I feel like 100 years from now we're going to look back at all the cruel things that we did to animals and wonder why it took us so long to make a change. It's wonderful being vegan and realizing that what you're eating is doing no harm, or at least the least amount of harm to animals, and that you're really caring for the planet, and what you are choosing to put in your body is not only good for you, but it's a form of activism in itself. And the vegan community here in Denver is so warm and so welcoming. When people ask me if it's hard being vegan, I would say maybe in another city, but in Denver it's definitely not, because I can name 15 or 20 vegan restaurants right now, or pop-ups or food trucks that I can go to right now if I'm hungry, or if I need a catering event or something like that. So I love that there's so many options here. I love the community here in Denver. We're really breaking down the stereotypes about vegans not being supportive, not being understanding, or being angry or judgmental. We're really supportive of each other. We understand what we go through, and many of us have loved ones and close friends that aren't vegan. So we choose to be understanding and supportive and change people's minds with love instead of hate. Becoming vegan definitely had its challenges. I was the first in my family to become vegan, and so when I wanted to celebrate an all-vegan Thanksgiving or holiday, or refuse to have turkeys at Thanksgiving anymore, it definitely had its challenges. I found myself compromising my beliefs for the comfort of other people. Like if I was at an outing or gathering where I was being served something that wasn't vegan, I might compromise at that point and say that, oh, I'm just going to be 80% vegan. But then I realized that I was no longer willing to compromise my personal beliefs for the comfort of others, so I got comfortable with making other people uncomfortable. While no one in my immediate family has transitioned into veganism, they definitely have been more understanding and more accommodating. It's no longer a debate that we're not going to have a turkey at Thanksgiving, and in fact my mom has personally changed some of her traditional recipes into vegan recipes to accommodate me. So I feel loved, I feel supported and understood and respected, most importantly. I would celebrate birthdays or special occasions, and unfortunately wasn't finding the flavors I wanted for vegan cakes. So I started tinkering with my own recipes and started baking professionally during the pandemic when my friends and family started paying me to bake cakes. So I started as a home-based baker for a few years, then got a commissary kitchen, and then I saw this place for rent, and the rest is history. Red velvet is really popular with Oreo vanilla buttercream, chocolate ganache, marshmallows, and graham crackers. And when people do lemon or strawberry, they usually do it all the way. Strawberry cake, strawberry frosting, fresh strawberry, strawberry Oreo crumble. And I personally love caramel on strawberry. So before opening my business, I was often on social media platforms arguing and debating back and forth with non-vegans and really taking offense to pretty much every cruel thing and mean, hurtful thing that they would say online. And when I opened my business, this became, all-consuming for me. So I decided that my activism would have to be in the form of owning this business and sharing vegan cakes and baked goods with the world. And so when I'm able to change people's minds, when I'm able to be a support for vegans who are struggling to find delicious cake for special occasions, or people that have allergies or gluten sensitivities, that's my form of activism, is providing that support for people in the form of food. So I believe tasting is believing, and so if someone is hesitant about trying vegan baked goods, I give them a sample and immediately change their minds. So while we are vegan and plant-based, we're not always leading with it. Sometimes people will buy a cake and they'll eat it, write a review, and then they'll realize after the fact that the cake was vegan. And that's one of the ways that we like to change people's minds. We also do a lot of weddings, and oftentimes our customers will come in and tell me that they're not going to tell their guests that the cake is vegan until the end. And that's how you change minds, I think. The future is vegan, and we're making a lot of headway in removing the stigma that vegan means different. Vegan means doesn't taste good. Just because we don't have eggs or dairy in our cakes doesn't mean that the cake is any less delicious. In fact, we've been told that our cakes are more delicious than traditional dairy-filled or egg-filled cakes. Well, I no longer go into spaces expecting them to be vegan friendly. I do my research on the front end to make sure that I'm prepared, and if it's not a vegan friendly space and it's something that we're going to be eating at, I might eat beforehand and then just have a drink or a salad or something like that. So it was through being uncomfortable and being in spaces where there wasn't anything provided for me that I realized I have to prepare on the front end for that. Because unfortunately, while I know that the future is vegan in the present tense, we still have our challenges facing spaces that are always accommodating for us. As a black woman working in a predominantly white space, I find challenges of being the token in events and gatherings, and there's a part of me that doesn't actually mind that, because I want to see diversity. I want to be an inspiration for other people wanting to enter this space and bring more diversity to the space. But then also sometimes I feel like being left out. There were events where they were promoting BIPOC businesses, but there were no black-owned businesses. So I like to challenge these spaces when they are promoting diversity, but actually not really having full diversity when they could. So even though I have a storefront and we're completely swamped sometimes and bogged down at the shop, I find myself wanting to be out in the community and showing my face and being present in those spaces to break down barriers and also be an inspiration to people that are black people or BIPOC people that are wanting to enter these spaces. So I wish I had known how hard it was going to be to open a brick and mortar business. The transition from being a home-based baker to brick and mortar definitely had tons of challenges as far as working with zoning and building code and the fire department and getting approval with the health inspector. A lot of times the health inspector, they don't understand what goes into making vegan baked goods. And they look at it as, oh, we have dairy, we have milk, we have certain other restrictions, and there really aren't formal outlines for vegan-owned businesses as far as what the food requirements are. So there were some challenges with explaining what we do here and getting them to understand that. I also faced challenges with being respected as a black woman business owner. a lot of times people would come in here and ask to speak with the owner, and I'm like, I'm the owner, and then they would be completely shocked, or they would be condescending to me, or wouldn't fully respect me. And so I had to be assertive, I had to stand my ground, and I had to demand respect sometimes and get people to see that, you know, business owners don't look one way and you need to respect people regardless of what they look like. If someone was on the fence about becoming vegan, I would definitely ask them a lot of questions that would get them thinking as far as what is the struggle becoming vegan, why are you interested in becoming vegan, and then through them sharing their own personal convictions, get them to see that it's really a no-brainer, and just supporting them with where they think their challenges are. Some people, their challenges are peer pressure from their friends and family, and just out of habit and routine and tradition, they're just used to doing these things. So getting them to see that you can make your own traditions, and you can have, you know, vegan turkey, tofurkey, you can have you know, a hamburger, like you can still have these things you want. It's just about changing your habits and being disciplined and staying dedicated to your personal convictions. Supporting the cake bar isn't just about coming in and making a purchase. Of course we need that and we encourage that, but we also need your support in the form of kindness, in the form of inviting us to events. We still want to do events out in the community. We just did Loving Arm Animal Sanctuary, we did Vegan Night, and we want to continue to do these events to where we have limited hours right now at the bakery, so being able to do things after hours is definitely helpful for us. And we eventually want to make our own cake mixes and frostings. That's coming later this year. That will need your support on that. But just continue to show us love online. Continue to bear with us as we are a startup company and handling, you know, an influx of customers. And give us your feedback. You know, send us an email, give us a call. Let us know what we're doing great. Let us know what we can improve on, because we want to be here for the long run.